You're watching and listening to the Fat Bidin Film Cup, and I'm assuming I'm Zan Azli.
And I'm Michelle.
And every week, as usual, we watch a local movie and we review it.
If you're bored, you don't have to do it anymore, you know.
But today we are going to watch a local film. It is a Tamil-Indian local film and it is called Satte.
Satte.
Satte lah de.
Satte lah
Ani
de.
kudinge.
It's not Satte. I don't think so.
So,
Alright, so
we watch Satte.
Satte.
We're just assuming, she's assuming that it's pronounced Satte. I'm assuming that it's pronounced Satte. It's a Tamil, oh yeah, we already said it in the, just now.
It's a, yes. It's a Tamil film.
It's about gangs in
Yeah,
the...
apparently means gangs. Okay, so it's about these two bros who are in a gang in Buntung.
Directed, okay, before we forget, directed by Ray Dinesh David.
Yes.
Just in case I forget the name.
David. Okay. So it's about these two bros who are in a gang in Bidin. So their bros got like one big brother and then a bigger brother. And they run. It's not really clear. We know it's illegal, but basically they go like to the sea and they pick up
Things.
Yeah, it seems like a smuggling.
It could be drugs, smuggle,
it seems like a smuggling
whatever
thing, but we're not really sure because
Yeah.
they just say like pick up the stuff.
Yeah, and then they report to a middle management gangster who
a big
reports to a
brother
bigger, higher
reports to a bigger brother.
management gangster and
Yeah.
so on and so forth lah.
So the whole show revolves around how a gun is missing, and then we have these flashbacks lah of them being in the gang and the lead up to how the gun went missing and whose gun is it and so on and so forth, and then the resolution is what happens. They never find the gun.
They never find the gun because, well, the people who were in charge of getting rid of the gun, these two guys, screwed it up because the guns kind of symbolizes like power.
Yeah,
right?
so they talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
Like it's quite literal where they say like when you have a gun, you know, you're in like power. It makes
People respect
people
you.
respect you.
Yeah.
So it's an idealism of what a gun symbolizes lah. And so they were tasked. One fellow was tasked to get rid of it, and he didn't. So he decided to like hold it for one day, but then he got drunk.
Both of them got drunk.
Both of them got drunk, and then they did a couple of dumb things with the gun.
With the gun,
and
yeah.
then they lost it.
And then the middle management started asking questions where the gun
but
is.
then they never answered, and eventually they get caught lah.
Yeah.
So and then we find out that the gun actually fell into the hands of a kid. Yeah, like a preteen sort of kid.
And then the movie ends.
He's taking the gun and he's like feeling very powerful lah. And then the movie ends.
So it kind of symbolizes the
quite Jagat-ish that way.
Yeah, the circle of gangsterism lah. Among the Indian community, the Tamil Indian community in Malaysia. So what do you think about the movie?
Why don't you say what you say?
No, you say first, then after that I'll say.
What? Okay, well.
Because the past reviews always I've been saying it first, so now let's switch it up. Let's switch it up.
Switching it up.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. Alright. I thought that the film was interesting narrative wise. It was a good story, and it had a good ideology behind it lah, sort of, towards the end, like when that happened, right? And it was executed fairly okay. Like the lines were not too bad, the acting was not too bad, the directing style also not too bad. There were no like over the top scenes, or there was nothing that was overly like very unreal, you know.
Yeah.
But it did feel a little bit too long for such a simple narrative lah. Like it was an hour and a half, almost 2 hours long, and some parts of it were, because the story is so simple, right? It's so simple, but it carries a lot of heavy subtext, which is great. All of that is great, but for an hour and a half though, some parts of it was just very draggy and very like purposely dragged out to fill out like time lah. Like scenes when they were like getting drunk, right? It's like montages of them just getting drunk, and then like scenes where like when he goes to see like the girl or whatever, that was also kind of dragged out. And it's like they purposely put in unnecessary fillers that don't actually really contribute to that main narrative in a way. And it's just to like make it a feature length film lah. But that's how it felt like to me lah. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad film. It wasn't badly executed. It wasn't a bad story. The acting also was not bad. It's just that it was a bit long. Yeah, that's really all I have to say.
I agree. It has a very good. I think it was written well. It was a very well written story by the scriptwriter and all that. I like the interweaving of the different characters and how their relationship with each other is. Some friends, some not so friends. Some are from different gangs. Some report to different bosses. And the dynamics between them, the middle boss and the big boss, shows. It's like looking at IS, Daesh, Islamic State, where they have the big boss in Syria, then got middle management.
Yes, we totally just compared Indian gang to...
It's like that, right? And then they have cells. And then yet these cells are really quite disconnect with the highest boss, because that's how it's run, right? Yeah, so that if they get caught also, nothing, it will never lead up and things like that. So it was very nice in that sense. And I like the fact that it was done in Bentong.
Very localized.
Yeah, very localized, because we all know that the biggest Indian gangster that we know of modern day in Malaysia comes from Bentong.
Oh yes, I did not know that.
Bentong Kali.
Oh.
Kalimutu, Bentong Kali. I remember when he was shot in Damansara. We all drove there to see the police cordon off that area where they had him in a house, and then he ran on the roof and then they shot him. So
Pablo Escobar.
So there was Bentong Kali. So I like the setting, and they didn't need to explain much of the context, but you're right, it was a little bit long. But I also, because this film, when coming out of the film, I didn't immediately like it.
I didn't.
Yeah, but the hindsight and thinking and the thought process that went in after coming out and then thinking about it and all that. See, if you did this review immediately after we watched it, the review that I would give would probably be a lot different than what I'll be doing now.
I think I still would say that it's a good narrative and it was not badly executed.
No, the narrative part, is good.
Yeah, I would still stick by the fact that it was long, like unnecessarily so.
Yeah. But I one thing that I enjoyed was the way it was shot. Right? It wasn't trying to... No, the whole film, it wasn't trying to be beautiful. That is what I like. I don't really like films that make so much effort in making the shots beautiful.
It's very realistic.
Yeah, and then look like commercials, like TV commercials. So I don't like that. But this one, like, it was very raw, very realism lah. You know how realism.
The color palette was very grey.
Yeah, grey, and because of
grays.
And because of the way they shot it, I then slowly think that I started appreciating the dragginess of the film. Because if you notice, the parts that were draggy were parts where they were not really doing anything, where they were just sitting at a Chinese coffee shop with friends, just drinking, or they were just in the living room, just talking shit. Or
that wasn't the draggy that I minded. It was just more of the like, to go from one, not one scene lah, but like from one plot progression to the other. It was taking a long, unnecessarily filler amount of time.
I appreciated that because it felt like people think that gangsters live a very exciting life. You know what I mean? But they probably don't. They just probably sit around. They just take a motorcycle, park at the side of the park, taman somewhere. You see a lot of this, right? You go to any taman perumahan, at night, you'll see these Indian youth who go on motorcycles and with cans of beers and they just sit, right? So they just sit there and then they drink a can of beer and they just talk crap, So I think it made me appreciate those parts lah. And him just like the main character, he was just lying there while his mother is watching a Tamil movie, and then the mother's just crying, and then he just yells for the mother to just shut up, and then he just walks out of the house. You know what I mean? So I think it shows like it gives a little bit of reality lah. Directing wise, maybe he didn't control it as much, so that's why we felt a little bit draggy. But I can see what he was trying to do. I see the intentions, and maybe he could do it better in the future. Again, those parts were not the ones I minded lah. It was just I don't know how to explain it.
there were some parts where it felt like the scene was taking much longer than it was supposed to. Yeah, and I didn't really enjoy that. Like when they were sitting in the house and they were talking about what we're gonna do about the gun. Like that was a really long scene. Like what are we gonna do now? Where are we gonna find it? Whatever. And it was just such a long scene, you know. But it's supposed to be like intense. It's supposed to be like glabar. It's supposed to be kind of, you know, I don't know. It just felt very long lah. Yeah.
Yeah, the comparison between this show and Jagat is, it's dealing with the same issues. It's dealing with the same issues, but
it's from a different perspective.
Yeah, different perspective and different style of filmmaking also.
Yeah, totally different. Jagat was more. Jagat was telling us a sort of like an origin story almost, you know, and it was really delving deep into a lot of nuances and a lot of multi-layered sort of issues, whereas this one was really quite clear-cut. One protagonist it wasn't really going so much deeper into like societal issues. Like Jagat talks about how, you know, the only way to make it as an Indian is to be educated. You know, if not, this is the life that you're falling into, that's it. And you know, this was very briefly done over like drinking and stuff like that. But in this show, there was nothing like that. It was very raw. Yeah, so
we should actually make a comparison. We should actually give our opinions on what we thought. We compare these two films with Jagat.
This film and Jagat.
And Jagat. I prefer this film much better than Jagat.
I still like Jagat
because Jagat seemed a bit, compared to this film Jagat seemed a bit preachy.
Yeah, but you don't like preachy films.
I don't.
You don't like films that like
because you need
specifically tell you.
Yeah, if I wanted that, I'll go to school and talk to a teacher.
No.
I remember Yue once said, kalau saya nak ada message dalam filem saya baik saya jadi postman.
But Yue is a misogynist.
Okay, but I still think that because I think the best way to actually bring forward an ideology in a film is always through subtle and soft ways rather than the hard pressed ways.
I didn't think that Jagat was very hard pressed, to be honest. But I think that it's just about a preference of style. I'm okay with the realism style of filmmaking, but I enjoy like narrative driven styles like Jagat much more.
Yeah, that's why I said I prefer Satte much better than Jagat.
But it wasn't so much. I don't think that Jagat. Of course, compared to Satte, Jagat is preachier. But actually, as a film on its own, it was not really that preachy. No, you want a film that was preachy? It was that film, the one that was really like in your face preachy at the end.
The one about
Acham Tawe. Was it Acham Tawe?
No, the one
Don't
about
Be Afraid.
What comes to mind was the autism film.
Oh no, I'm comparing to another Tamil film.
Oh, okay.
And it's the one where their car breaks down. They all get into a lorry, and then it turns out the lorry driver is like killing people or something, and then he goes into this whole like mass speech at the end, and that was just that was preachy, in your face and so on. I think it was Acham Tawe. We'll check this back and link it here. And,
But I also remember that autism film also was very preachy. The film about Teach for Malaysia that Cheryl and Fernando film was also very preachy. And I don't like those kind of films. I mean, it's fine, you can have these films because, you know, it's propaganda and all that. But I think the best way to approach messages like this is always through subtle storytelling.
But I still think Jagat was subtler than those films, but not as subtle as Satte. I'll give it that. Wow, that was a mouthful to say. Okay,
but you know, I like Satte because, you know, eating it with kacang sauce is so good. We had it yesterday. But unfortunately, because my parents were here, we went to the Pasar Malam. He didn't buy beef though, it was just chicken satay. Yeah.
Which I guess is appropriate to this review.
So would you ask people to watch this movie?
Go watch the film. It's not
I would
bad.
say watch it. I wouldn't say, I think we both agree that
just
it's not the best film.
with the long parts. It's really not.
It's not the best film, right?
But
it's not bad.
It's actually got quite a good story and everything going for it. So just bear with the pacing and you'll be fine. Yeah.
Okay, so if you have any comments, which film do you think is better, right? Satte or Jagat? Comment. I'm going to link Jagat review here. The Jagat review here.
I'm not in it.
Yeah, you're not in it because he was with my brother Aizil.
Yes.
But you can see. Then let us know what you think.
I wrote a review about Jagat though. But anyway, carry on.
I'll probably put that link into the bottom part of this.
I really like Jagat. I really like it. I really like it. Anyway, carry on.
So yeah, you know, you can follow us on all our social media platforms at Fat Bidin, or go to fatbidin.com to get everything. And you'll be watching and listening to the Fat Bidin Film Club. I'm assuming I'm Zan Azli.
And I'm Shelley Bustaman.
Okay. Nandre.
Okay,
Na
bye.
un mulai.
What?
Hey, if you want to learn how to become an independent filmmaker or a filmmaker in general, I've got a book which I wrote with a buddy of mine. It's called Zan Azli and Wan Chun Hong's Guide to Indie Filmmaking. You can actually buy it off of here. I'm going to put the link down here at my website, fatbidin.com. It's only a couple of ringgit, and it's really good because it has many different chapters, the process of filmmaking, and each chapter I interview a Malaysian filmmaker who gives advice and tips of from their experience. So yeah, yay, link is down here. Yay.